Hi, I'm Peter Brusso for the Drone Bible. We've already done a video on the Terrahawk Paladin. Why are we doing it again? Well, it's been fielded in Ukraine now since 2020, late 2025. And it's a good, smart piece of kit with one exception. And I want to talk about that exception. Easy to fix too, by the way. Not that bad. This system is designed to do something every NATO country has been struggling with. Kill cheap drones with cheap bullets. Right answer. The system is a 30mm Bushmaster cannon, programmable air-round bursts, and AI enhanced for targeting system. That's very, very cool and neat and futuristic and welcome, I would think, as a defensive system. And it also has a 360-degree radar system, so you can't sneak up on it per se. However, the way that people are using it is the truck drives up and drops the system off and it's stationary. Ukrainians understand that shoot and scoot, which has been a doctrine since World War II, is very, very important. You have about 5 minutes after you shoot something before a counter battery can attach itself to you and destroy you. So a fixed system like this has its biggest weakness is the fact that it's not mobile. Now it does come with a mobile version. We're going to talk about the non-mobile version. All right, let's see what Mr. Tyler has to say, and I'll see you on the backside of that.
The Terrahawk Paladin offers 3 deployment modes. Vehicle integrated on a manned HX 6x6 tactical truck. Trailer towed. And dismounted onto a NATO standard flat rack, what they call drops, demountable rack offload, and pickup system. The truck-mounted version can move. The other 2 cannot. For this video, we're focused on the 2 static modes because that's how it's most often deployed. We're going to walk through what happens to it on a real battlefield in 4 scenarios. Scenario 1. The Terrahawk is dropped at a high-value site, a power substation, an ammunition depot, a logistics hub. A wave of attack drones approaches from one direction. The radar picks them up at 3 kilometers. The cannon engages. Programmable airburst rounds shred the swarm. The system works. This is what MSI defense systems built it for. Static point defense against an aerial threat that doesn't know exactly where the system is. This scenario plays out exactly as designed. Cost-effective. Accurate. Lethal. But this isn't the only scenario. Scenario 2. Russian doctrine doesn't send the strike package first. It sends the recon. A single FPV drone, low altitude, scanning a route ahead of the main force. It finds the Terrahawk. The image goes back to the operator. The Russians now know exactly where the system is, what it is, and, most importantly, that it isn't moving. What happens next isn't a swarm. It's a single FPV, fast, cheap, expendable. Scenario 3. Same setup. But this time, the Terrahawk gets lucky. It detects the FPV, slews, fires, kills it. Good day. But now the Russians know 2 things. There's a drone killer in that location. And it isn't moving. The next package isn't a single FPV. It's 4. Coming from cardinal points. North, south, east, west. Converging at the same moment. Scenario 4. The Terrahawk does its job. It engages a wave of incoming drones. The cannon fires. The radar lights up. And now Russian artillery, listening for that signature, has it. Lancet loitering munitions. Krasnopol guided shells. Iskander-M missiles for high-value targets. Russian counter-battery fire closes the loop in under 10 minutes, sometimes under 5. A static system that just gave away its position cannot relocate during incoming fire. It has no armor that matters at that scale. It has no chance to displace. The Terrahawk fires. The Russians fire back. The Terrahawk loses. This problem isn't new. It just keeps having to be relearned. Pacific Theater, 1943. The Imperial Japanese Navy's largest forward base, Truk Lagoon, sits in the middle of Allied advance routes. The Japanese have garrisoned it heavily. The fortifications are deep. The defenders are battle-tested. Admiral Chester Nimitz looks at Truk and asks one question. Do we need to take it? There's one more piece to this story. And it explains a lot. MSI Defense Systems didn't start as a land warfare company. Their core business is naval close-in weapons systems. Automated mounts on ship rails. The DS-30M Mark II, a 30mm Bushmaster cannon on an automated mount, designed to protect ships from fast attack craft and anti-ship missiles. That's where the Terrahawk comes from. The lineage is the sea, not the land. And on a ship, the design philosophy makes complete sense. The weapon doesn't need legs because the ship is the platform. The hull is doing the moving. A naval close-in weapons system welded to a frigate's superstructure has the entire warship as its mobility solution. 20 knots in any direction. Zigzag patterns. Sea state masking. Western Europe. Same year. General George Patton's Third Army moves through Lorraine. The Germans have built defensive positions all the way back to the Rhine. Fortified hills. Concrete bunkers. Anti-tank lines. Patton's order to his commanders is simple. If you can go around it, go around it. If you cannot, destroy it from a direction it wasn't built to face. But never, never slow your advance to assault a fixed position the enemy is prepared to defend. Fixed fortifications are a monument to the stupidity of man. General George S. Patton. That was Patton's view of the Maginot Line. History proved him right within 30 days of the German invasion of 1940. The Maginot Line was the most expensive defensive structure of its era. State-of-the-art for 1936. Germany walked around it through Belgium in May of 1940. The lesson isn't that fortifications never work. The lesson is that fortifications can only ever defend the place they are built. They cannot answer a moving enemy. And every adversary that matters is moving. Ukraine has now relearned this lesson with artillery. The doctrine is called shoot and scoot. 3 rounds. Then move. 3 minutes or less from first shot to road march. Ukrainian crews who follow the doctrine survive. Ukrainian crews who don't. The reason is simple. Modern sensor networks, counter-battery radar, acoustic sensors, satellite ISR, loitering munitions overhead, close the targeting loop faster than any fixed system can react. The window for a stationary asset to fire and survive is now measured in single-digit minutes. The Terrahawk Paladin's deployment time, once dismounted, is not measured in single-digit minutes. It is measured in tens of minutes. That window has closed. MSI Defense Systems didn't start as a land warfare company. Their core business is naval close-in weapons systems. Automated mounts on ship rails. The DS-30M Mark II, a 30mm Bushmaster cannon on an automated mount, designed to protect ships from fast attack craft and anti-ship missiles. That's where the Terrahawk comes from. The lineage is the sea, not the land. And on a ship, the design philosophy makes complete sense. The weapon doesn't need legs because the ship is the platform. The hull is doing the moving. A naval close-in weapons system welded to a frigate's superstructure has the entire warship as its mobility solution. 20 knots in any direction. Zigzag patterns. Sea state masking. When you take that same design philosophy ashore, when you bolt the weapon to a flat rack and call it deployable, you have not created a land system. You have created a ship's gun mount that has been disconnected from its ship. The mobility went away. The vulnerability stayed.
Well, here we are at the close. Systems engineering is really incredibly important function in the engineering chain. And the fact that we're seeing something taken off a ship and put on a fixed place on the ground may or may not be connected to a specification. But I think they'll find out very quickly that, yeah, they really need to have that as a mobile device, all in the specification. I'm Peter Brusso, and I hope this has been helpful, and I will see you in the Drone Bible.